enough with the celebrity talk. Let's get back in our bag, man. Let's get back in our high power bag. We ain't had no high power topics for a minute. We've been floating with this celebrity stuff going on. You got the rap battles going on. You got this case going on. You got this celebrity getting arrested. So it's a lot to keep the people updated because I know people love celebrity talk. But let's just talk real for a second. There's been a lot of race debates going on. It's been a lot of reparations talk going on. It's been a lot of police shootings of unarmed black people going on. And it's got me to thinking, should we stop identifying as black? Because now if I butcher this pronunciation, excuse me, civilter mortis, that is Latin for civil death, AKA meaning the loss of all or almost all civil rights by a person due to a conviction for a felony due to an act or right by the government. Basically, you lose your rights, right? So under civil mortis, however you pronounce it, if you look in the Black Laws Dictionary, black means dead. So you'll see a lot of these conspiracy videos floating around TikTok or whatever, and they'll try to suppress them, but under certain language, that like the language that the powers to be use, black literally means dead. Like you're not a real person. So that would explain how the police is always getting off of doing what they're doing to the unarmed black citizens, right? You're not even considered a real person. Then if you want to go back and take it to when we were considered less than human, right? It's always less than human. We were 1/3 of a man, like not even a full person. They didn't even count us as real people. So by us still identifying as black, we're literally saying we're not even real people in a sense.
I mean, you remember the beginning of Malcolm X, right? When they're in the jail and then the Muslim dude shows them what black reads in the dictionary and how it's like destitute of light, bad, evil. There's multiple things that are tied into what black is in the dictionary that enforces that negative connotation of us. I think we're at a point in time though where like I could never stop identifying as black. I could never, because for one, it's who we've been our whole life. Ups and downs, bumps and bruises, good times and bad times, right? Like our culture is not only the negatives, it's the positives. I think we have to focus more on the positives and try to reinforce that more and be more of a positive outlook. I think that, I just don't see myself, because then what would we call ourselves? Just people?
Well, this is where the debates of your history comes in. Because if you don't even know who you were or who we were in the beginning, we're given a different label, and that label has a certain meaning in the law, which gives you the treatment that you're getting from the law. So like, let's say if you were a Moor, right? You're not under this United States corporation jurisdiction. Like when they go to court, they rep themselves, they under a whole different law. They ain't got to ride around with licenses, like all the shit that we got to follow. They're like emancipated from all of that. So that's why it's key to know your history and your lineage and actually who you are. And this is why we're in a battle. Are we FBA? Are we ADOS? Are we the Moors? Are we the real Jews? It's a reason our history is being suppressed, because with who you are, not only gives you right to the land that was stolen from you, that's key. You also become exempt from these bullshit laws that was made to go against you. Because by identifying as what we identify now, we're subject to being victims in that law, because you're not even a real person at that point.
But you're not saying that.
I don't think really like you said, it's not going to really change. Regardless if you woke up today and said I'm something else, or I'm just this race, or if I'm looking past that, other people are still going to identify you as black. They're going to look at you crazy, like, what is you talking about? So, and most of our people ain't going to change that. They're not going to go deep down and try to dive into something and recreate who we are. And who's to say, who made up and say black is what's good and what ain't? Because
the law dictionary.
I know, this is what I'm saying though, but if everything was created by one source, everything is still good or bad how you identify it. Just because I see this camera is black don't mean I'm going to say it's bad. And even the things that they taught us about black cats, they try to tell you that that's bad luck. But black cats are, in a sense, are some of the best cats. So it's a lot of things that, like you said, of knowing your history and understanding where you come from and what things are. I just think the trajectory of us as a people have to move at a higher standard to to be viewed a certain way. People are always going to look at us how they do because they know us, how powerful we are deep down of who we are, what our melanin represent, who we are, and the things we had to overcome. I don't think nobody else can be as resilient and strong and strength as we have been throughout years. They've been doing everything to make us extinct, and we're still here. So is black really bad in a sense?
Yeah, but see, the only reason I'm taking this towards the law, because we could feel however we feel and not care about how other people view us, but under the pretense of the law, by you identifying as black, that's civilly dead in the eyes of the law. So in the eyes of the law, you basically don't have real rights. It's like when we do the census, it literally says black. So by you self-identifying, that's almost in the sense of you giving your rights away in the eyes of the law. This is why the Moors and shit, they're so dead set on, hey, bro, you need to really learn your history and what you identifying as, because now you get different treatment under the law.
But there's no more on the census though, is there? In America.
That's all I'm saying. Even if you fill out an application, it's not going to say more. It's not going to say none of this other stuff. Even when I fill out job applications, sometimes I put other or something else just to see, because I know if you put black, you automatically going to be looked at a certain way. That's real shit. But what I'm saying is, regardless of what you saying on the law and all this other stuff, the law is going to look at you like you're black, and they're going to still treat you accordingly. It's not going to matter about the text of the law. People are still going to view you the way they choose to see you. And the Caucasians or whoever else are still going to view you as less than them. The same way we talk about when you get jobs and get in these spaces around people, you can have an executive like Diddy versus another music mogul, music executive. In that sense, they're not going to respect Diddy the same way they do him, or the Jew or something else. Any light you get in the police force, they're still going to look at you as an outcast. It does not matter to that extent.
See, I don't care about being viewed. I'm saying legality. So by you having history tied to certain things under the pretense of the law, we would be legally owed a lot of things. Like, let's say reparations and shit like that. Once you can prove, okay, this was low key, really our land. They really stole it, because we know they did, but they're still not admitting to it.
Okay, so under legality,
that's what I'm on. I'm not on personal viewership, because you can feel however you want to feel. But under the law that our nation is ran under, once you become identified as certain things, you're protected differently under the law. It's the same way the Jews are protected differently under the law, but they don't want you to call yourself a real Jew. You'll get Kyrie. Why? Because it's power being identified as a Jew. Why? Because that shit go back biblical. Like, y'all damn near God's people. So identification matters. So they trick us into not thinking it does. That shit does matter. It's a reason everybody else knows their lineage and they have power here. They got connections back to their homeland that ties in here. We're the only ones disenfranchised.
Are we the real Jews?
And that's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down. I'm not really focused on that. We can have that conversation, but that's a whole nother conversation. All I will say is, you go back in the Bible anywhere, you go back to the earliest evidence of the depiction of humans, they're black.
So what should we identify as?
That's the question. That's why our hit.
Well, so
there's a lot of shit in the Vatican. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of shit in Britain in the museums that they took from the motherland that talks about our history, including the first recorded Bible that we don't have access to. And it's like, why don't we have access to that? What information is in there that we can't have access to, but you got? And you started using the shit that the people who did know about that info is like, hey, bro, you know they got this, boom, 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 boom. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. But then you start to see them using that shit. Like, they told you voodoo is bad, it's this and that. But then low key, they doing that shit.
I would have to see what would change for us depending on what we change our name to, what we identify as, right? But that's something I'm not informed enough on. But I don't know. That sounds. I'm not saying I find it hard to believe,
It sounds too simple because even if
because
even,
look at for instance, like we talk about trans people all the time, right? Like they identify as a certain thing, and it doesn't. I mean, it has for a certain amount of time given them a certain sort of protection until somebody came along and said, "Okay, no more." Do you get what
That's
I'm
all
saying?
I'm saying. They change laws based off that.
Who?
If say you write about something, we identify as something else. The moment we do that, they change laws to go against what we identified to take away those, to take away anything
Those
that
protections.
benefits us. The same way when we seen the Panthers carrying guns, and then once they started using that for the betterment of them, they found a way to make them stop being able to carry guns.
This the difference though. They have the rest of the nation backing what they're doing because the rest of the nation doesn't know the history either. So what do you think happens to the country if the rest of the nation finds out, oh shit, everything they've been saying since forever was really true? How you think they gonna start to look at, you think they're gonna be back in that same type of movement once they figure that out? It's like you see people over there in Russia when Putin showed that, hey, you know, Jesus was really black. A lot of them started to, you see them on corners worshiping black people now. It's like like white people who started to realize like, oh shit, biblically, like this does point to black people low key. They start to treat black people differently and they like, fuck, we was lied to. You start to see a lot of them jump on the bandwagon like, man, how can we help y'all? Not saying everybody would, but I think it's a reason they're suppressing it. Anything that you suppress is for a reason.
Now I agree with that, but like I say, I just said they know deeper. We the ones who really was connected to the internal stuff, learning all the spiritual information and things like that we presented and we taught to people. So I think they know that they have to keep that up. It's not by coincidence they want to take out Black history out of school. We already didn't have enough. And now you not even want to teach the kids nothing about their history because they make it seem like we're the ones who are the worst type of people, but they're really the worst type of people, and then they rewrite everything else, and that's what we see going on from time to time again. I'm just saying,
if you look up civil death, it literally means the status of a living person equivalent in its legal consequences to natural death. So if black under the law means dead, you're like a walking corpse at this point, meaning you don't even have civil rights. Which would explain, if you look around, what the fuck is going on with black people. It's like, damn, how they getting away with this shit?
That's deep.
It's like, low key, it's legal under the law.
But
we know it's been going on, but it's time for motherfuckers to start waking up to make some, like, we could just keep saying, oh, they could just change the law.
But like you said, but you saying laws and we saying how they be getting away with it. They've been getting away with it by force.
Yeah, but
it ain't having to been by no laws. They doing what they want to do.
Nah, but it's not just by force because, like they say, the greatest slave is the one that thinks they're free. They took you out of the chains because once I keep you in the chains, human nature, after a while, you're going to rebel to get out of the physical slavery.
Yeah, you in chains in your mind.
Right. So that's the greatest way to keep somebody enslaved. That's why they didn't tell you about all the slave rebellions in school. Why? Because that might spark a mind. They just want you to think you was helpless until Abraham Lincoln came along and freed your ass. They didn't tell you they freed you for business purposes. They didn't tell you slaves was putting belt to ass on plantation after plantation. All of that shit was left out. So I'm like, it's a reason they preach knowledge of self. Because if you don't have knowledge of self, you don't even know who the fuck you are. If you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going. Yeah, you're operating in a world under an identity that's given to you.
Were they fucked up when they
from the people that's low key oppressing your ass? It's like you my slave, but I'm telling you who you are. So you're gonna believe it because your reality is not what's actually going on around you. Your reality is actually whatever you believe. You are. So it's like you could be in a fucked up environment, but you could believe I'm better than this. And what's gonna happen? You're gonna do resilient things. That's going to create a reality for you to get out of that. You could be in a great, perfect environment, but you believe you're a piece of shit. So what do we see? Rich, famous people who was secretly depressed. What happened? Drug use, go crazy, suicide. They had the perfect environment. We couldn't understand, why would this dude end his life? It was a thought process. He didn't believe he was what was around him. So that's all I'm saying. They got us believing we are what the fuck they telling us we are. That's stronger than the fucking law to me. Is the belief of who you are. Because that's what creates what's around you. You walking through the ghettos that they created, believing you ain't shit because they told you ain't shit. Walking around calling yourself civilly dead without even knowing it. They just sitting back laughing at niggas. Shit is deep.
Yeah, no, it is. I gotta do more research on that one.
Shit is deep.
Because that's interesting.
That's all I'm saying, people.
That's
Your outside circumstances doesn't dictate who you are. It's like to say, oh, you know, I'm a product of my environment. It's like, no, we adapt to our environments out of necessity for survival, depending on where you at. But really, you don't have to become your surroundings, especially if this is not the reality you want. Because you really think about that. If I adjust to a reality and a surrounding that I don't want, I'm becoming what I don't want. Really, you should be looking at what you do want and be making the moves to become that. Because the world, like your subconscious mind creates everything. So it don't matter how much motivational shit you listen to, how many books you fucking read. If your subconscious don't believe none of that, it's not gonna never work. That's why they tell you to read books before you go to bed instead of watching TV or scrolling. Why? Because right before sleep is when the subconscious is most open to intaking new information.
You can't say it don't matter how many books you read and say read a book before you go to bed. But
no, what I'm saying is,
I get
what I'm saying is when you read the books before bed, that is going in your subconscious mind.
You gotta program your subconscious mind. But it's easier said than done because the things you do see are images of what people create in their minds. So yes, reading and everything else is part of the programming, but the things you are telling yourself is that too. So that's why they tell you to stay on positive frequencies or different things. But it's not only just that too. You need the feelings of it. You got to have that feeling of believing that you're going to outgrow that environment. Everything you said is facts. But that's why I said none of that really matters, because if somebody else doesn't understand the English language and they say black, but they think black means good, that same thing that you're saying won't have a negative effect on them.
Exactly.
It only has a negative effect once you believe that this is a negative thing. So if somebody believes that black is great, too black, too strong, or I'm powerful because I'm black and this and that, that's going to become their reality also.
I agree. But then what do they show black as in society? They show you as less than. So naturally, your subconscious is being programmed to view yourself as less than. We can look at examples of that in society right now. Black women getting BBLs to look like what? Black women. The bodies you already were birthed with.
Yeah, but that goes back to the mindset, like you said. At that point, it's on you. It's on you to focus on the things you want, not the things you don't want. And that's where a lot of us go wrong, because we compare it to everything else, or we see somebody else with something, and it's never going to be enough until you are content with yourself within. It's going to be an uphill battle.
That's what
it's going to be.
I'm reading it right now. It's actually it's low-key crazy.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Because
it's
it
nuts.
talks about even property and inheritance. And you're right. When you really do look around, what do we have?
You don't own anything.
What
This
do
how
we have?
this how they taking whole towns. Nigga,
Kinda
you ain't even a
crazy.
real person.
Low-key crazy.
Drop a bomb on them niggas. Them niggas already dead in the eyes of the law.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like this shit really matters for real, because anything they're attacking, you gotta sit back and ask yourself why.
What did black people?
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good.
All of that's
that's a good one.
all of that would be is different. It depends on like the region you from, and this is why they focused on disenfranchising you, so you don't know the information. Most of us cannot even go back 3 to 4 generations right now, from your grandmother and go back 4 generations. Your grandfather go back 4 generations. We probably done that too.
It goes back to, we would have to, like he probably said, to get the real of what we identified, we probably have to go over there. It's saying Ashanti, Igbo, Yoruba, the African tribes. That's what we identified as.
Yeah, it would be what tribe
you were
know
from.
what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. It's like Hispanics, they can go back. Chinese, Asian, Vietnamese, Indians, they all can go back. We're the only ones confused. This is why we're creating so much shit, because we're trying to create something to identify as. Oh, I'm FBA. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Oh, it's like we just making up shit, but we don't really know for real. Why? Because the information is being suppressed. So information is key. Knowledge is key. What your subconscious is ingesting is fucking key. Why the hell do you think they want your ass in school as early as possible and as long as possible? So we can put more bullshit info in your mind than positive info your parents can put in your mind. It's like you said, the subconscious, it does not know what I want or what I don't want. It just know whatever you're telling yourself. What do most people tell themselves? This is what I don't want. They think by focusing on what they don't want, they're going to navigate around it and get what they do want. No, by focusing on what you don't want, you're going to run into more shit that you don't want. Because your subconscious is going to lock that in and go, damn, this is all he thinking about. This is all she thinking about. This is what they want. Now you're just going to create situations and environments for you to get exactly what the fuck you don't want. All of this shit is deep.
Yeah, no, that's facts. Facts.
All this shit is deep, man. I'm telling you. It's a reason female be like, man, I keep running into the same guy. Yeah, all you think about is, I don't want this guy. Oh, damn, this the guy she want. Everywhere you go, you meeting that nigga.
Or they look for all the red flags in the nigga.
That too.
So you deal with a man, or you think it's too good to be true. Oh, he's too nice. Like I seen that video of that girl that went through the man's phone. She told us where the bitches at. She was mad the nigga was faithful. Lost her damn mind. Then it's like, when you deal with a woman, they be like, oh, I've just been through things. But they equate they past relationships to their new relationships and then recycle the same experience and then prove themselves right of what they was really wrong about. That might have been a good nigga, but you looked for certain signs that created a certain action in you that made him react a certain way. And then that shit is way deeper, and you just recycle the same experience. That's why they be like, oh, I deal with the same nigga in different bodies. Like
perception. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm telling y'all got to start paying attention to what's going on, man. To change the outer, you got to change the inner. You can't change the outer without changing the inner. Nothing's going to change outside of you until you change what's inside of you, because what's inside of you creates what's outside of you. Programming is real. I don't give a fuck if you want to vote till you're blue in the face. Nigga, your reality ain't fucking changing until you change. And that's a fucking fact. I don't care how many seminars you go to, nothing. If you go home at night, look in the mirror and still think less of yourself, guess what? You're going to get a reality that's less than. It's to the point where I'm damn near a loner now. I can't talk to people. It's because like you talk to people, they look for the negative out of every situation. I'm finding myself literally telling people, God damn, do you ever look at the positive side of it? People be like, damn, I never even looked at it that way. It's draining to even talk to people because the first thing they want to do is complain. That's how people bond. Out of trauma, pain, and complaints. Nobody's out here bonding over how to get here except for the people that's already fucking here. Shit is real.
Yeah, that's facts.
Shit is raw. We keeping it authentic. So I'm finna get back in my high power bag, man. All that celebrity shit be having you spinning. It's conversations we need to have constantly. It's conversations we had 2 years ago that I'm seeing other platforms go viral for right now, as if somebody just said it. Like, nigga, we said this shit 2 years ago. We got to get back in our bag. People acting like they never heard this shit before. We know what's going on out here, but what I get is, it's like a kid. You got to constantly keep pumping it out. Like, you might even got to go back and do topics over and over again just to hammer that in the minds of the fucking people.
That's what they've been doing. I've been tired of talking about these damn celebrities anyway.
But it's like the convo we had when we first turned the camera on. It's okay, how do you play the algorithm? What gets you pushing the algorithm the most?
Yeah, that's
because just preaching to people, it's almost like your parents. That's how they start to view it. So you got to find an entertaining way to deliver the information or people going to tune you out. It's like your parents could have been telling you some good shit, but we all naturally buck against authority. It's like, man, who the fuck is you to be telling me anything? You think you better than? Because people start to view you like that. Oh, nigga, you think you too smart. You think you know everything. You think you better. Now they try to find chinks in your armor. That's why I like 607 Unc. I'm starting to like fuck with some of his shit because it's like, okay, this nigga low key, he found a crack in the matrix. Cuz is dropping real bars and real jewels in that a wild, entertaining way. You think this nigga crazy? Listen to what Cuz saying in between them crazy ass rants. Like, oh, this nigga really sharp. He's not just some dumb crazy nigga on the internet.
I never thought he was always.
I think Charleston White was the same, but I think he lost himself a little bit with the fame.
607. I think he's smarter. He doesn't know a lot of shit, history and everything.
That's all I'm saying, man. Like, don't worry, we got y'all, man. We gonna get back in the high power bag because most of the core following, they come here for that. But just know, it's still entertainment. We're still hip hop heads. Still people out there that want to hear us talk music. They want the celebrity stuff. So we giving y'all everything. We told y'all they can't box us in. We're gonna touch every avenue of this shit.